again, but that's okay. I'll get through it.
Yeah, you you were talking about being somewhat subconscious.
Am I going crazy, or am I hearing voices? So anyway, somebody's calling me. Let me turn that off.
Yeah,
So
sure.
it's not. It hasn't been conscious. It's just it's just who I am, and it's I need to go back and listen to your question because I had like 8 things going on, but and I have ADD.
Yeah, let me ask you this.
But it has yeah. I didn't come to any realization. I've always kind of been true to myself, true to what I believe in. And I definitely you have to adapt to what the clients want to a certain extent, but I kind of had an idea of what I wanted the industry to be like for me, selfishly, like what I felt was missing when I got into the industry. And I can kind of tell you, I kind of entered the industry in a weird way. Never thought I would be in it, and I'll go off on these tangents because I'm kind of ADD, so you may have to edit a bunch of this stuff. And but so my background was. So I was an economics major. I was in the financial world. I got trained in New York, and I was a commodity trader, and yada yada yada. I got into this is so bizarre, but I was for people. They're like, "How in the fuck did you get into promotional products?" And so it was supposed to be like a temporary job. So I was trading commodities, and I had like the old D10 weather machines, like literally forecasting the weather in Iowa. And I was helping quote unquote farmers hedge their cotton and their corn, soybeans, wheat, and doing hedge strategies, option strategies. Some of the listeners probably won't know what that is and don't care what that is. But anyway, long story short, I was literally a futures trader. And anyway, the funny thing is I worked with a lot of farmers and speculators because I was like the only game around where people literally would call me up and they go, "Hey, I want to short 10 sugar contracts or 10 S&P futures contracts." And so I was kind of an order taker too. And I was miserable, man. It was the worst job ever. And I had like 2 kids working for me, and, somebody be short 10 S&P futures contracts, and instead of covering, they'd short 10 more. They'd call the floor and go, "Sell 10 more." And then I would be short 20. And I couldn't afford errors and omissions insurance. Was too expensive. I mean, I was in my 20s. And I'm like, just sell it. And sometimes I would just have to like hold the position. I didn't have any money. It was just like insanity. It was the most stressful business ever until I got in this business. So the funny thing was, the way I got into this business was I actually, around Christmas time, I used to do these, hedging seminars or whatever. And I'd drive around to these farms and, in rural North Carolina. And I lived all over. I went to UNC, lived in Atlanta, went to school in London. I'm not, some worldly guy. I lived in California, lived in San Francisco, anyways, and they all knew I went to UNC, and they're all like NC State guys, and UNC guys are considered like the bankers that finance the farmers. There's this bad blood. And they all loved me because I just owned it. So I would show up at a seminar in a Isuzu Trooper. I don't even know if you know what that is, but they used to. Do you know what a Isuzu Trooper is?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, man. Dude, it was my first. I've had 3 cars, since I've been out of school. But so I would show up in a Isuzu Trooper, and it was all Chevys and Fords, but I've always been true to myself. So I would do a seminar on how they should hedge their crops, blah, blah, blah. And I won't get into the pop payments and government subsidies, but I did that for years. But I used to, on Christmas, I would buy them like buck knives. And my company is called Thompson and Company. It had like a little chart, the commodities chart.
Right.
And I buy them buck knives, and I buy them, the trucker hats. And they were legit because it was hot. It was hot as fuck. And in the summer, and they really needed the mesh backing, so they loved it. And anyway, long story short, it just was like too much. So there was this guy